If you're a business owner, director, senior professional at the moment, really struggling on the bike, getting dropped on hills, fitness isn't where you want it to be, you're finding that's actually then having a knock-on effect in the workplace, in the work environment, very low energy through the day, certainly through to the back end of the day, and you're currently at the moment just seeing that your health long-term is not going in the right direction, then today I want to take you through 3 things that I have found have to be in place to be successful with improving your performance, fitness on the bike, improving your energy levels, drive, concentration, clarity in the workplace, and also just getting your VO2 max, your health, body composition in the right place to really get your health moving in the right direction now over the coming years. Why am I sharing this? Really, because I've been through the journey myself as a business owner, company, 2 kids, family, busy time, right? And 8 to 10 years ago, I was in that place. Weight was at nearly 100 kg. Fitness was really on the floor. And I actually, through a period now, or through a transformation myself, went from nearly 100 kg to now down to 75 to 79 kg. I have stayed within that bracket for the past 8 years now through the strategies that I'm going to share with you today. So please go stick with me through all of these. But also fitness was really barely around an FTP of 200 watts. And I've now taken that through what I was doing in that transformation 10 years ago to sitting between 330 and 375 watts again through the time of year, right? I'd love to say to you that I can, if I was, wouldn't want to lie to you and say that it's going to sit at that 375 all year round and I'm going to be staying at 75 kg all year round. But knowing where your range is, where you can sustainably sit, for me, that's 75 to 79 kg at 6'4", 192 centimeters, and the FTP goes up and down as well. We have phases with work, business, and life where sometimes things, have to take a little bit of a backseat, but it's the strategies that I'm going to share with you today that allow you to actually just get to that range and be able to sustain it long term for performance, enjoyment with your cycling, your fitness, exercise, drive, clarity in the workplace, just knowing you can still keep really good energy levels. And thirdly, it's just that health as well, knowing that the VO2 max is at a really good place and you're sustaining it through life. So let's go. First thing, I'm going to take you through these things today. There's 3 things I'm going to go through, and I found that if one of these isn't in place, the whole thing falls apart. It doesn't work. They have to be in some way, shape, or form. We have to have one of these things in place to be successful with what I've just mentioned there. So the first one is your training, exercise. Okay, this is the number one. We have to do some exercise. We have to train. We have to have a structure in place. Okay, it doesn't have to be very structured. The success that I achieved, and that I've now helped over 500, more than that now in the past 10 years, individuals achieve 3 watts per kilo and beyond with their fitness, riding and health, has been based on just trying to implement a structure of 3 rides per week. Okay, now that might not sound a lot, it might sound quite a lot to some, but really 3 rides a week. If you think we go from Monday to Sunday, with everything else that we've got going on, if you can try to at least get 3 rides a week in, you can be successful with this. You can add 50 watts to your FTP over a 12 to 16 week period. You can lose 10 to 15 kilos as long as you have these 3 things in place that I'm going to show with you today in this system. Okay. First one, training, 3 rides a week. If you can bring some structure in here, so the bare minimum that I want you to be doing is at least ×1 VO2 max training session of around 45 to 60 minutes in length. And then around this, we can do 2 × 2 60-minute zone 2 rides. Now, just with this structure, if you're not already doing it in that structured way, you can see some fantastic improvement. If you can add anything on top of that, it's going to be a bonus. You are going to get closer to your goals. You're going to achieve your goals quicker through doing that, okay? But if we can we have to be realistic, especially, as I say, a business owner, director, senior professional, someone who's very time crunched. As I said, you've got family and other things going on in your life, which I'm sure you have as well. If we can be realistic and say, right, I just want to consistently be at that 3 rides a week through 12 months of the year, that's a lot more achievable rather than trying to go at it and say, right, I want to be doing 5, 6 rides a week, be able to do that for 4 weeks, but then find you completely fall off. It takes you 3 months to then get back into doing 5, 6 rides a week. And that just goes up and down. You see no progress with it. You go round and round in circles with your fitness and also potentially weight loss, body composition where you want to be with that as well. So better to think long term with this: 3 rides, 1 VO2 max session, 2 60-minute zone 2 rides. Yeah, great. If you can actually make one of those 60-minute rides, certainly this time of year, you can do 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, because the opportunity presents itself and you get out longer, then great. To some people watching this, that might seem like a very low volume, but it might be a low volume, but it's about how long we can sustain that consistently, which is really where the gains and the progress is at. Okay, so that's the first real key cornerstone in the 3 points that I want to share with you today. Okay, I'm just going to take this off and we'll leave training up there. If you want to scroll back, go through, you can obviously to see the individual points that I mentioned there, you can. The second one then, absolutely crucial, is nutrition. We need to be dialing in the nutrition. As I said, one of these doesn't work without the other, okay? We can't be very successful just solely on training alone if you're looking to improve power, fitness, health, and lose weight at the same time, okay? We can't just have nutrition really dialed in if you're also then, you need to train to increase your FTP, your VO2 maximum performance there. The three things I'm going to show you, stick to the end so that I can give you the third one as well. Absolutely crucial, okay? So the second is the nutrition. And it's really, the great thing is once we have that structure with our training, we know that, okay, we're doing 3 rides a week, we can maybe roughly, bar some flexibility, lay those out on days that work with your schedule, your diary. Once we have that structure, it's then a lot easier to actually align this nutrition piece with that. Where I see a lot of people fail with this is actually they don't have any structure whatsoever with the training. They're trying to make changes with their diet and their nutrition, but it's very hard to do that because they don't know what days they're exercising, when they're resting, what's going on through the week, and it's very hard to actually then bring some structure into the nutrition with that. So once we have the structure of the training, we can then say, right, okay, I know that with the nutrition, I'm going to set out and find out what my BMR is, your basal metabolic rate, the base goal, basically the calories that you need just to go about a normal rest day, whether that's, for me, it's normally in here in the office, not doing really any exercise, sitting at my desk, speaking to the team, taking calls. It's very sedentary. And for many of you watching this, it might be the same. The only real exercise that I do, and when I made that transformation as well, was really only when I was on the bike doing any exercise or running around in the garden with the kids and trying to get them here, there, and everywhere as well. But apart from that, everything else is really just on the bike. So with the nutrition, it's finding out what the calories that you need to actually just sustain normal day-to-day life. You can use lots of apps out there at the moment, MyFitnessPal, sites online. There's like a new app coming out, fitness app coming out every day, right? This is where it can get quite confusing as well, what to use. And yeah, if you need some guidance on this, by the way, there's a link in the description. You can click that, book in a consultation, and we can help you, structure out this to your lifestyle. But with the nutrition, you can just really find that BMI by using something that's out there. Okay, you can even use AI now, and it will tell you roughly what your BMR is. Once you've got that, you know that basically then on a day where you're not doing any training, they're the calories that you have available throughout the day to be able to actually then just sustain and be on track, keeping yourself in a deficit to achieve any weight loss with it. The great thing with that as well then is you know that on a rest day, because you're not performing the exercise, certainly any high intensity exercise, you can really lower carbohydrates. Certainly if you're not doing a VO2 max workout or a longer ride, we actually don't really need those carbohydrates as much. That's where you can place more of a focus on protein intake, 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight on that rest day. You want to have that on a rest day and a training day, but certainly on a rest day, protein's been shown to make you feel fuller for longer. It's going to improve your recovery. It's going to allow you to just actually pad out those calories that you've got with your base goal and have a focus with that as well, which can be really useful. Lots of fiber around that as well, fruits and vegetables on a rest day, and that will give you a pad out those rest day calories really well. The difference is then on a training day, because we now know what our base goal is, and we have our training structure, we can then actually say, right, if I've done my VO2 max session, I've burned 500 calories, I'm going to add that to the BMR. And then one actual change tip I'll give you as well, what you can make with your macronutrient intake is you can actually then have a bit more carbohydrate on a training day, because if you're going over that anaerobic threshold, you're doing intervals above your FTP, then you're going to need some carbohydrates to actually fuel that and have the energy. And this is great again, because it allows you to actually get on the bike, have the energy to feel really strong in your training and perform well there, while staying on track with your weight loss as well. Big mistake that I can see, or a struggle that a lot of people have who I speak to when we're talking to them about what they need help with, is actually combining that. It's having enough energy to train and improve power, fitness, VO2 max, whilst balancing losing the weight at the same time. And this really allows you to actually do that. And when you're getting on the bike, because you've just got clarity around what it is you're doing with your training and your nutrition, you can actually then piece those together, fuel for performance and lose weight at the same time. And it is possible. Check out the test stuff. As I say, the hundreds of testimonials that we've got. If you want some more help with this, then just click that link in the description below. We can have a chat if you want to. Great. The third and final piece then, and this is really crucial. This pen's going to go. Let me just get another one out here. Is accountability. Now, there's various forms here. And as I say, one of these does not work without the other. Make sure I spell this right. Accountability. Hopefully I've got that right. Okay. Looking at it from the side there. Yeah. Accountability. So, great. Again, we can have a fantastic training program. We can have our nutrition dialed in. But if there isn't anybody there to hold us accountable, or a goal or an event or a group or somebody you ride with, then really it's hard to stay on track on this with these two things on your own without having anything there to drive you and hold you accountable to it. It just doesn't work. Okay, so we need to have something there. There's various forms. There's obviously a coach, and that's where a big part of what we do is not only do we help you bespoke a training structure that fits with your lifestyle, bespoke the nutrition to fit with that as well, is we really keep you on track and hold you accountable with that and guide you and support you through that process, right? But it doesn't always have to be a coach. It might also be an event. There's probably been times through your life where you've had a goal and you've known, because that goal is in the diary and it's there, that if you don't do anything, then you're gonna struggle on that goal, or you're not going to perform as well as you want to. So that's a driver. That goal is holding you accountable to achieving the results you want to perform well there. Or it might be in a group setting. Certainly this time of year now, knowing that you're going to say to a group of people that you're going to go and ride with them at the weekend, for example, or you have a ride buddy, a colleague that you go riding with. That's the accountability there as well. Because if you organise a time to go and ride with them, then it's a lot more likely that that ride is going to happen, and you're going to make that progress, you're going to do that ride because there's somebody else there, or there's an external accountability and driver there with it. And it's the same here. So it's really actually, whether that's in the form of a coach, whether that's now joining up with a group to try and help you be more consistent with your training and nutrition, to say, yeah, do you know what, I'm doing this group ride every week. I don't want to keep getting dropped. I want to move up the group just to enjoy the riding more, or there might be a little bit of a competitive side in there with it as well. But that is then during the week, from Monday to Friday. If you're doing your group rides at the weekend, I guarantee you're probably going to be more consistent with your training and your nutrition because you've got that external accountability with it there as well. Likewise with an event. We've just had a load of guys come back from doing the Mallorca 312. We've got the Ray Pyrenees, we've got the Attack, we've got the Maratona, we've got loads of the Fred Whitten, the Dragon Ride, all of these great sport teams and events that are in the UK as well, or over here in the Alps where we're based. Just getting something like that in the diary can be such a powerful driver as well to actually really keep you on track with your training and nutrition. And if you can combine those three, then yeah, that's really going to allow you to be successful